10 amazing cat stories. Number 10. The Cat Super Thief. No, not cat burglar. That joke's more overdone than a steak tossed into an active volcano. Despite their sometimes diabolical nature, cats usually won't steal anything inedible. That makes the spree of Dusty in San Mateo County, California all the more bizarre. Since 2007, he went around to neighbors' houses and stole over 600 things, mostly articles of clothing. The news reported a predilection for stealing entire ensembles instead of just, say, one stray sock. The cat's owner has taken up setting up lost and found boxes for the owners of the stolen goods. Given that this apparently has allowed the cat to get away with it, thieves the world over will soon be kicking themselves for not trying that with the goods they stole. Number 9. Cat is greater than black bear. Some cat owners refuse to have their cats declawed because they fear it will leave the cat defenseless against other animals. There is anecdotal evidence, though, that being declawed will not inhibit the cat's willingness to get in trouble by picking a fight. So it was in 2006-era West Milford, New Jersey, that a declawed orange tabby named Jack chased a black bear that presumably had claws up a tree to keep it out of his yard. That bear is probably still in therapy after all the abuse from other bears. Number 8. Cat saves a baby's life. Now, here's the sappiest story ever to involve a cat and a baby. In April 2006, outside of a home in Cologne, Germany, a cat began making an awful racket. When the homeowners went down to investigate, they found an abandoned baby along with the cat. The baby would have experienced life-threatening hypothermia if it had been left there until morning. No trace of the parents was reported, and it's highly unlikely the cat was able to adopt the baby. Number 7. Cat is greater than a bunch of pit bulls. Pit bull packs are well known to be a threat worthy of SWAT teams, but occasionally a cat is all you have handy to deal with them. Very occasionally, that's enough. Few people have learned that lesson better than 97-year-old Harrison, Michigan resident Sophie Thomas in 2010. A group of 4 pit bulls attacked her in her yard while she was gardening and bit her enough to make her fear for her life. Then her cat, aptly named Tiger, jumped into the middle of the dogs and led them away from Thomas. When the dogs were gone, she went into her home and washed her wounds, thinking the dogs would kill Tiger. But before long, the cat came back and was unharmed, and likely was unbearably smug for quite a while. Number 6. Disappearing Dixie. We all know how independent cats are as pets, but Dixie the cat takes that to new extremes. This Birmingham, England feline was reported dead to her owners in 1999 from a car accident, but the body was never found. This was because the cat was not dead and went off on her own for 9 years, which is most of an average cat's lifespan. Between that time and being returned to its owners in 2008, she did not go feral, with the owners reporting that Dixie was essentially the same as when she left. That's pretty much a dead giveaway. Dixie had made some kind of arrangement to disappear for some time. Number 5. Can't kill this cat with fire. Cats don't just save babies from the cold or old ladies from pit bulls. Sometimes they save themselves from fires that devastate the home they're hiding in. In the case of a firestorm survivor named Chase, his method of survival was to hide behind a stove. Can you imagine how horrifying that would have been? A vacuum cleaner scares my cat to death. I can't imagine what would happen if the stove was turned on. Number 4. Cat is greater than alligators. A 2010 video from Louisiana may well be one of the most negligent ones of a cat ever shot. With her American shorthair facing off against an alligator, the owners just stood there, laughing and recording the confrontation. Sure, it wasn't a very big alligator, but it's still a damn alligator. Also, when it received backup from another alligator, they had enough collective jaw power to take the cat out in one bite. But what's really unforgivable is just how the other cat is just standing too far back to be of any help, while another member of its species has to stand up to 2 alligators. Number 3. Cat calls 911. The third, and by far the best story of 2006, just goes to show something awesome was happening to the cats in the world that year. In this particular story, a Columbus, Ohio resident named Gary Rosenheim was suffering a heart attack when 911 emergency services received a call. When they arrived, they found Tommy, the cat, by the phone. Emergency services reported that it could only have been Tommy who somehow dialed 911 to get help for his owner. The probability of this was helped a bit by Tommy only having to hit one speed dial button, which is still one more than you'd expect a cat to be able to pull off under the circumstances. Number 2. Soviet cats go to war. Starting in September 1941, after the Nazis invaded the Soviet Union, they put the city of Leningrad under siege. This was a city of 3 million people, and the incredibly destructive siege would continue until 1944. Food ran dangerously short, and rats posed a severe threat to the city's survival, so the Red Army dispatched 5,000 cats from the surrounding areas, presumably only letting them eat whatever rats they could find. The operation was rated a major success, and statues of the cats went up around the city. Number 1. Cat saves owner on day of adoption. If you get a cat with the hope that someday it will save your life and you get into the local news, realize it'll probably take a long time before that actually happens. Still, some who adopt cats luck out majorly, like Amy Young of Sturgeons Bay, Wisconsin. She had a diabetic shock in her sleep one night in February 2012, the same day she'd adopted 2 cats. One of them, named Pudding, woke Young by first meowing in her face and then nipping it. When her son didn't respond to her cries for help, Pudding went to him and woke him up so he could call for the emergency services. Hopefully, having more than earned his keep on day 1, his name was changed to literally anything but Pudding. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button in the top right. Our channel has loads of other awesome videos just like this.